What's up everybody, you're watching the From WordPress to Statamic YouTube channel. My name is Michael. Today I want to go over a couple little tweaks we can make to our control panel that'll make our experience here a little bit nicer once we're a little further along in our projects. Now when we first get started, we see a screen just like this with this Getting Started with Statamic widget in our dashboard. It's got links to create a collection, read the documentation, create a blueprint, stuff like this. That's not really going to be relevant for me anymore because I've done all that work. So why don't we replace it with some widgets, and it'll present to us some information that's going to be a little bit more handy so we can get to our content a little bit quicker. Now the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go over into our config and find the control panel file and look for the widgets. So over here in config, open up Statamic, and CP is the control panel file. And now I've got this widgets array about halfway down the file. We can see this getting started. If I was to comment that out, then my widget goes away from the dashboard. So let's fill it with something else that's going to be a little bit handier. Now I'm going to go open the documentation in this other tab here. So statamic.dev/dashboard. And if I scroll down a little bit, we can see there's this widget section. And here's that same array of widgets with getting started at the top. So the next item in the array after getting started is basically just fetching something from the collection type. And we're specifying which collection we're going to do and how much room do we want it to take up within the dashboard. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to paste it over here. And assuming I have a collection type of blog in my project, which I do, I'm going to make this maybe 100%, just so it fills the whole thing. I'm going to come back here, give it a refresh. And now I've got my latest blog entries. And I have a button where I can even create an entry right from here. I don't have to dive straight into my collections and then select my collection and then create an entry once I get there. This makes it a little bit quicker. I can also limit the number of items that are in here. If I had hundreds of entries, for example, and I only wanted to show one, just for the sake of example, I can add another item here into this array. And you can say limit. Let's just call it 1 for now. And I only get 1, and then it's paginated automatically. So if I wanted 10, for example, there we go. When I only have 3 in this case, so that's not a problem. Now let's do the same thing. I'm just going to copy this again. And now I also want to show my, let's make blog second. Maybe I want my pages to be first. So pages. There we go. So I've got my about page, careers, etc. And again, the button to create an entry. So maybe I have a bunch of different collections in this, and I don't want to surface them all in my dashboard here. The way that I need to get to them is through the collections over here, and then I need to go down to jobs, for example, and then I need to click the create entry button so that I can actually get there. Well, I have to drill down quite a bit to get there. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but maybe I want to surface some of this stuff a little bit higher in the menu. Well, because I'm using Statamic Pro, I can actually come down here to Preferences, and I can click on the CP nav, that's the control panel nav here. And for my user, I can click in here. And now I have all of my navigation links, which you see on the left side. And if I really wanted to, I can pop open the collections, and maybe the jobs I want to pin to the top level. Let's just save that. Now you can see jobs is right up here. If I wanted to reorder things, I can do that too. I can totally customize it to the way that I want. But let's check this out too. So I'm just going to do look at my Git status. And you can see I've made changes to my control panel, but I've also made changes to my user. We can see that what we did here is we're overriding for the user. So this is my nav, and it's saving those settings into my user file. So if I was to check that out, let's just open that up. And if we scroll down to the bottom here, we can see that the jobs, which is the one I just pinned to the top, is now linked to the top level. And I can save this into my Git repo, and I can push and keep this in sync in all of my environments. And every user can have their own different settings, which is going to be handy because your super user is going to want to have everything and maybe simplify things a little bit. And then you might have just an editor who's going to want to have quick access to their blog posts and stuff like that. Now this way we can keep our dashboard nice and tidy on a user level and not have to worry about changing settings for somebody else. If you wanted to change the defaults, I mean, you can do that too. But I think it's nice to do it on a user level. That way, everyone is happy. The last little thing I want to talk about today is customizing this a little bit for your client. Now, when I'm in the dashboard here, I see this nice Statamic Pro logo up here, but maybe I want to show the logo for my client. So what I can do, I'm just going to pop open the public folder over here. So I've got my images and everything, and I've got a couple different logos. I've got the dark version, which will show up kind of in light mode, and then the light logo, which would be visible in a dark mode, so that we have contrast. Now, the way that I can use this is I can open up my env file. I'm going to come down here, and you can see I've got these things commented out. So I'll just bring them back. We've got this Statamic custom logo URL and the Statamic custom dark logo URL. These env variables are already available to me. I don't have to do any setup to make these work. All I have to do is specify the path to my images. So I can hit save, give it a refresh, and now I've got my logo up here showing right inside my dashboard, which is a nice way to personalize this for your client. If I was to switch over to the dark mode, you can see that the colors of the logo here switched, so it's visible in this mode as well. And if I was to sign out, let's log out. And now it's showing here in this screen as well. So if I was to comment these back out, give it a refresh, now we're just showing the standard Statamic logo again. So bring it back, and there we go. And we've got that logo, and I'm going to use the light mode. And there we have it. Now we can see how we can customize our dashboard using some widgets. And there we have it. Now we've seen a quick way that we can customize our dashboard with widgets, surfacing some content that we might want to look at more often, and have that nice big create entry button, along with customizing our control panel navigation on the side per user, as well as changing up the logos in here for the sake of the client. I think it makes for a pretty nice dashboard experience. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the description. Catch you next time.